is not possible.
Darling, you have no idea what's possible.
With the upcoming release of Thor Love and Thunder, what better video would it be to make than the Asgardian gods of the MCU? Today's video will cover each significant Asgardian within the MCU and scale their strength, durability, attack potency, speed, and any other unique abilities that they have. Note that this video will not cover Thor, as we have already made a scaling video on him, so check that out if you haven't already, although we did admittedly miss out a ton of important info there. We will also be updating Thor's scaling video after Love and Thunder, so stay tuned for that video. I would also encourage you to like this video and subscribe to our channel, and with that out the way, let's begin. For starters, let's just talk about the Asgardian gods in general, and common features that they all share. Every Asgardian is granted with immense superhuman strength, speed, durability, stamina, agility and reflexes, far beyond the level of any human. Each Asgardian also has longevity, allowing them to live for approximately 5,000 years. However, this age limit doesn't apply to every Asgardian, as beings like Valkyrie and Hela have been around for over 5,000 years. Odin of course has been stated to be 500,000 years old, likely due to the power of the Odin force that keeps him alive much longer than he should. While the average Asgardian doesn't have any unique abilities beyond physicality, some Asgardians are born with supernatural abilities, such as Heimdall, Hela, Thor and Odin. Other magical abilities can be harnessed by Asgardians through teaching methods, such as how Frigga was taught to use magic. Starting off with the Asgardian goddess of death, and probably Thor's hardest opponent, we have Hela. Hela is Odin's firstborn, and due to her inheritance from her father, she possesses many unique superhuman attributes and abilities. What's special about Hela, however, is her magical connection to Asgard, which allows her to grow more and more powerful the longer she is present on her home, which effectively means she has infinite power. This statement should be to no surprise, as her limitless power has been stated many times in Ragnarok.
She draws her strength from Asgard, and once she gets there, her powers will be limitless.
The longer Hela's on Asgard, the more powerful she grows.
Hela views the Casket of Ancient Winters as weak, and this is a bold statement considering its power. The casket can coat an entire planet with ice, meaning it can output 4.435 petatons to 29.6 exatons of energy, making it multi-continent level. As Hela views this as weak, she obviously scales much higher than multi-continental. In the same scene, Hela calls the Tesseract not bad. The Tesseract has been confirmed by S.H.I.E.L.D. to have the power to destroy planets.
This is the Tesseract. It has the potential energy to wipe out the planet.
And so already we can confirm Hela to be a being with planet-busting power. While in a very weakened state after just escaping Hell, Hela was able to effortlessly catch Mjolnir mid-flight and even crush the mighty hammer with almost no difficulty. Now, for those of you who are unaware, sources from the first Thor movie confirm that Mjolnir was forged using the core of a star, and after the hammer was complete, the star exploded, otherwise known as a supernova. A supernova requires any value between 136.066 tenatons and 760.516 tenatons of energy, making it star level, and as Mjolnir easily tanked a star level explosion, but was not able to resist Hela's grasp, we already have a casual star-busting feat. Keep in mind that Hela did this all extremely casually, and she wasn't even on Asgard, meaning that at her weakest, Hela is still very easily star level. Hela's durability would also be relative to her strength due to Newton's third law, which states that for every action there must be an equal and opposite reaction force, meaning that if Hela's strength is star level, then so is her durability. In terms of speed, Hela has kept up and reacted to Thor and his lightning blasts, which have been calced at Mach 1545.5, making them massively hypersonic plus. Hela also reacted to Mjolnir, which can move 429 times quicker than light, as shown in Thor the Dark World, making Hela's reaction speed massively faster than light. When Hela was chasing Thor and Loki through the Bifrost, she managed to throw Loki's dagger at speeds exceeding that of the Bifrost. We know this to be true as official Marvel sources have confirmed that the Bifrost acts as a tractor beam, which is a theoretical device that can attract an object from one point to another, meaning that in the scene, the Bifrost was pulling Thor, Loki and Hela from Earth to Asgard at its MFTL plus speeds. As Hela was moving MFTL plus, and she managed to throw the dagger quicker than she was moving, she must have a throwing speed greater than the Bifrost. In Thor the Dark World, the Bifrost was seen passing another galaxy in around 24 seconds, and assuming this galaxy was the nearest galaxy to us, then the Bifrost was moving over 3 trillion times quicker than light, making it massively faster than Light Plus, or MFTO Plus for short. Knowing this, both Thor and Valkyrie have consistently reacted to Hela's weapon throws, meaning that their reaction and combat speed are MFTO Plus, and Hela has kept up with both Thor and Valkyrie in combat, meaning her combat speed is also MFTO Plus. When communicating with Thor, Heimdall warned him that if Hela escaped Asgard, she would not only conquer all the 9 realms, but also, quote unquote, consume all the cosmos.
Hela is ravenous. If I let her leave, she'll consume 9 realms and all the cosmos.
Cosmos is another saying for universe, so when Heimdall says Hela can consume the cosmos, he means that Hela can consume the universe. This statement can be interpreted in different ways, but if we take it literally, this means that Hela has the potential to have universe-level power. And this shouldn't be shocking considering Thor's feat of overpowering the 6 Infinity Stones, which could be regarded as another universal feat. And we know from Ragnarok that Hela scales much higher than Thor, so a universe level Hela would make sense. Hela also has a very impressive regenerative healing factor. Her healing factor, similarly to Wolverine, is almost instantaneous, as she has recovered from stabs in under a second, making her very hard to injure. In addition to her physical feat, Hela has the ability to resurrect the dead using the Eternal Flame and her necromancy. She also has the ability to summon an infinite number of any weapon she can think of, which she has used to slay entire armies, such as the Valkyries, the legions of Asgard, and she can even injure Thor. Her blades can be projected on a much larger scale, as shown when she conjured blades many hundreds of feet in size to fight Surtur. These blades were strong enough to pierce the fire demon's body, albeit they had little effect. But I mean, considering it's Surtur at full power, the feat's not bad at all. Due to her connection to Asgard, it is impossible for Hela to die, by age or in battle, making her immortal. The only way to kill Hela is by destroying Asgard, her power source. Hela is extremely experienced, being at least 5,000 years old by the time of Ragnarok, and has battled against some of the cosmos' most powerful foes, such as Thor and even Odin. Speaking of Odin, let's move on to him next. Odin, god of war and wisdom, is the supreme ruler of Asgard, son of Bor and father to Thor, Loki and Hela. As the king and ruler of the godly realm of Asgard, Odin possesses near infinite power that far exceeds that of other more common MCU gods, and is almost impossible for the human mind to comprehend. Sources confirm that Odin has decimated entire worlds, and has the power within him to destroy Earth. With that said, we can already confirm that Odin is at least planetary, which I mean is rather unsurprising. However, this is only a mere fraction of his full power. 500,000 years ago, during his youth, Odin battled Surtur and defeated the fire demon, stealing his eternal flame in the process. This is an incredible feat because Surtur was at his full power, meaning he was in the same state as he was at the end of Ragnarok. And remember, this was the same Surtur that defeated Hela and destroyed Asgard all in one single move. So, to truly know how powerful Odin is, we need to determine how powerful Surtur is, and we can conclude that by calculating Asgard's durability. Many people would like to downplay Asgard's endurance to only city to island level due to its size. However, a scan has confirmed that Asgard is the size of the US and is denser and more durable than Earth. So for those of you who think Asgard is below planetary, well, you are proven wrong, but Asgard can scale even higher. After the Bifrost was destroyed in the first Thor movie, it created a black hole that was seen sucking in multiple stars, as confirmed by many scanners. Despite being within the range of a black hole, Asgard remained intact and unaffected. So using this info, we can pretty easily summarize that Asgard's durability scales above all the stars that the black hole was sucking in. At bare minimum, Asgard was resisting any number from 138.066 and 760.516 tenatons of TNT, making it at least star level, of which Surtur could destroy in one hit. And as Odin scales above Surtur, this feat also scales to him. Now, another extremely overlooked MCU Odin feat comes from the Dark World. During Frigga's funeral, Odin casually transmuted his wife's body into multiple stars with a mere tap of his staff. Assuming Odin only created 2 stars, the feat comes in at 250.3 Foe, which is solar system level for reference. However, this is likely a serious lowball, considering the Thor the Dark World prelude, which is canon FYI, clearly shows around 8 to 12 newly formed stars. It's also worth mentioning that Odin was at one of his weakest points whilst performing this feat. I mean, the guy was literally 4 years before death, and yet still managed to create a ton of stars with just a tap of his staff. Pretty mad stuff right there. For consistency, we see in another MCU canon comic, Odin transmutes a wine cup into a constellation of stars. This time he creates far more stars than he did in the previous feat. with the image showing roughly 95 newly formed stars. Assuming that the stars Odin created are red dwarfs, the most common stars in real life, then the feat comes in at around large star level. So if Odin at his weakest and most casual is large star to solar system level, how powerful is Odin in his prime? To figure this out, we need to take a look at how he compares to his daughter Hela. After Odin and Hela's crusades, Hela sought to overthrow her father, and the two fought, but by no surprise, Odin came out victorious, and he locked up his daughter in Hell. Odin used an enchantment cast by him to prevent Hela from escaping, and for 5,000 years, Hela was unable to break through the enchantment. As Odin defeated Hela and she wasn't able to break through his enchantment, we can conclude that Odin scales above Hela, and as we previously mentioned, Hela has the potential to have universal power, and so Odin scales to and above this level. For more evidence to support this point, we can look at both characters' encounters with Surtur. As seen in Thor Ragnarok, Surtur one-shot Hela with little effort, and he is literally prophesied to destroy her. As Surtur is prophesied to kill Hela, it means that he would always scale above her, meaning that if Hela is universal, then so is Surtur. Knowing this, Odin defeated Surtur and so logically scales above him and Hela, making him also universal. If you're still not convinced of high tier scaling for Odin, well, let's look at this statement made by Hela.
We were once the seat of absolute power in the cosmos. Our supremacy was unchallenged.
Hela states that during her and Odin's time of conquest, they were at complete supremacy throughout the universe, and their power was unchallenged. Remember, very powerful beings such as the Frost Giants, Dark Elves, Deviants, and even Celestials were present during Odin's time of conquest. So if we take Hela's statement literally, then she and Odin would scale above the average Celestial, as technically no one could challenge her or Odin's power. In Eternals, we got to see the Celestials forming galaxies in their bare hands, making them galaxy level, and as Odin and Hela are both universe level, it makes sense that they would scale above the average Celestial. On top of his attack potency, Odin can utilize the Odin Force to cast enchantments, strip beings of their power, manipulate matter, and teleport via the Bifrost. Odin also carries his legendary spear Gungnir, which can be used to shoot beams of the Odin Force, which have laid waste to entire armies, injure Thor, and even kill Laufey. The spear is sharp enough to pierce through the bodies of both Thor and Hela, and can also be used to activate the Bifrost, allowing for instant teleportation. Due to the immense power of the Odin Force, Odin needs to recharge in the form of the Odin Sleep, a state in which Odin lays unconscious for an unknown period of time to recharge his power. The Odin Sleep could be a reason for why Odin has lived so much longer than any other Asgardian, as it could be used as a method to recharge his age, allowing his lifespan to be increased by many hundreds of thousands of years. The Odin Sleep, however, has its negatives, as in this state Odin is as weak as any mere mortal, making him extremely vulnerable. Like Heimdall, Odin has enhanced senses, allowing him to be aware of events occurring many worlds away, as demonstrated when he sensed Thor's worthiness while being on Asgard, when Thor was all the way on Earth. The next god I would like to discuss is Heimdall. Heimdall is the gatekeeper of the Bifrost and the loyal soldier of Odin. Being Asgardian, Heimdall is naturally gifted with superhuman strength, speed, durability, agility, reflexes, longevity, and a healing factor. Heimdall's strength in combination with Hofund has allowed him to easily overpower Frost Giants and Hela's Berserkers, as well as puncture through a Dark Elf ship. Heimdall's speed has allowed him to keep up with multiple Berserkers in hand-to-hand combat, and also catch up to a Dark Elf Harrow despite wearing heavy armor. Heimdall is also incredibly durable, as shown when he was blasted by Loki using the Cascade of Ancient Winters. As mentioned earlier, the Cascade contains the power to freeze entire worlds, making it multi-continental. One could make the argument that Heimdall scales to this level, but as he was only exposed to the blast for a short period of time, it's unknown whether he tanks the full power of the Cascades. Heimdall was born with unimaginably precise senses, allowing him to simultaneously see and hear every action occurring across the entire cosmos. Heimdall's senses are so precise to the point where he could see 10 trillion souls, sense a butterfly's wing flap from across the universe, and even hear a cricket passing gas from many realms away. Heimdall can share his vision with others in a form of telepathy, as shown when he allowed Thor to see what was going on Asgard, despite him being on Sakaar. Heimdall is armed with the 5'4" long sword, otherwise known as Hofund. Hofund has the ability to easily penetrate through the body of Frost Giants and Berserkers, and most notably, it has the ability of summoning the Bifrost. While Hofund is the common method of Bifrost summoning, Heimdall can actually activate the Bifrost without the sword by means of dark magic. Heimdall used this dark magic to teleport Calcs to Earth at the start of Infinity War. Along with Hofund, Heimdall possesses 2 dual blades, which we saw briefly in the Dark World. They were seen taking down a Dark Elf Harrow. Now this feat may not appear very impressive, but more than one VFX statement have confirmed that the Dark Elf ship engine, you know, the one Heimdall destroyed, well, this is indeed a black hole.
The system has to be designed. We've worked on basically a black hole engine, which looks super cool. That doing later on when you have a nearly 1,000-foot tall ship that has to be pulled along with a 300-foot tall black hole.
Moving on to the next Asgardian god, or should I say goddess, we have Valkyrie. Valkyrie is an elite Asgardian warrior who was once a part of Odin's highest military unit, but is now the queen and ruler of Asgard. Her strength has allowed her to effortlessly overpower berserkers and easily hurl Sakarans many hundreds of feet away. Most notably, Valkyrie was able to overpower Loki on a 1v1, and this is a very impressive feat when you consider that Loki easily overpowered Captain America and competed with Thor on more than one occasion. Valkyrie is also an expert in hand-to-hand combat, which can clearly be seen in the movies. She even personally trained Hulk, sharing with him some of her moves. Valkyrie was also very impressively able to kick down Hulk in one of their training games, which is quite notable as not many people can stagger the Hulk, yet alone kick him down. Valkyrie is armed with her sword, Dragonfang, which is powerful enough to easily tear apart spaceships, kill berserkers, and even pierce through Hela's nigh-impenetrable body. In Endgame, Valkyrie uses an Asgardian spear to penetrate the armor of a Chitauri Leviathan. In the first Avengers movie, Iron Man attempts to perform the same feat, using his laser beam to try to harm the beast, but Jarvis states that they would lose power before they can even penetrate the shell.
Sir, we will lose power before we penetrate that shell.
Iron Man's lasers can output 200 petawatts per second, which is roughly equal to 47.8 megatons of TNT, making them city level. As Jarvis states the suit would run out of power before the shell could be penetrated, we need to calculate how long Iron Man can leave the suit running for. In the first Iron Man movie, Ho Jensen states that the arc reactor can run for 50 lifetimes.
That could run your heart for 50 lifetimes.
In 2008, the average American lifespan was 77.8 years. Using this info, we can deduce that Iron Man's armor can run for an incredible 3,890 years, which is 122.68 billion seconds. Now, keeping in mind that in 1 second the lasers can output 47.8 megatons of energy, the total amount of energy Tony's lasers can output before the suit runs out of power is an incredible 5.86 exatons of TNT, which in power scaling terms is multi-continent level. And this is the same multi-continent busting laser system that failed to even dent the shell of the Leviathan, and is incapable of doing so in almost 4,000 years. With this in mind, Valkyrie would also have to scale above multi-continental, seeing as how she easily pierced through the Leviathan's armor using her spear. Just for a fun comparison, Valkyrie with her spear is roughly 117 billion times more powerful than the world's most potent nuclear bomb, the Tsar bomb. On top of this, Valkyrie has been able to take blows from Hela, who we discussed earlier as a casual starbuster, and it also looks like in Thor Love and Thunder that she will be going up against Gore the God Butcher while wielding Zeus's lightning bolts, which is certainly a fight I would like to see. The last of the Asgardian gods that I would like to discuss is Lady Sif and the Warriors 3. Lady Sif, Hogun, Volstagg and Fandral are all Asgardian gods that serve and protect Asgard from many threats across the 9 realms, and are also great friends with Thor and have fought by his side for many years. Though Hogun technically isn't an Asgardian and therefore isn't a god, I might as well put him in this video because he basically makes no difference. Speaking of Hogun, he was able to use his mace to block Hela's Necrosword, a feat which we discussed earlier to be massively faster than Light Plus. Hogun also managed to take a kick from Hela, albeit he was knocked out, however still a feat worth mentioning, considering Hela as a being of star-busting capability. Each one of them have managed to fight and overpower beings as powerful as frost giants, and in the case of Sif, she was able to stagger and even harm Loki. Each warrior is extremely skilled, agile and powerful, as demonstrated in their fight with the Destroyer. As discussed in our Destroyer video, the Destroyer can shoot beams of energy equal to 239,005 tons of TNT, which is large town level, and considering Lady Sif tanked a blast, she would scale to this level, making her durability at least town level. The other Warriors 3 would also be relative to Sif, so it wouldn't be a stretch to also call them large town level. It's also worth mentioning that Volstagg was able to take a full-on whack from the Destroyer, which is a great durability feat considering how strong the Destroyer is. In our Destroyer video, we talked about how the Destroyer's blasts are like lasers, as confirmed by official sources, All lasers in real life move at the speed of light, meaning the destroyer's blasts are light speed. Lady Sif was able to clearly dodge an energy blast from the destroyer at point blank range, and so her reaction speed would be without a doubt light speed. If you're unsure of any of this speed scaling, please check out our destroyer and MCU speed scaling videos, where we talk in depth about the destroyer and the consistency of faster than light MCU characters, which include Lady Sif. Each one of them wields their own unique weapon. In the case of Sif, it would be her double-bladed sword as well as her shield. For Volstagg, it would be his axe. For Fandral, it would be his sword. And for Hogun, it would be his mace. Overall, the Asgardians are an extremely powerful race of gods within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and as you can clearly see by their checklist, they are not to be messed with. Even I have to say, when making this video, I was shocked with how overwhelmingly powerful each god or goddess is. I mean, like, I was taken off guard when discovering that Valkyrie is multi-continental, as well as being 3 trillion times quicker than light. Hopefully this video has convinced you of just how powerful the Asgardian gods are, and if you aren't already subscribed, please consider doing so as well as liking this video, and stay tuned for more of our power scaling videos.